Once again, this is Ma'am Leng. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So, ayun, today is the part 2 of our review for for licensure examination for teacher. So, ayun nga, katulad ng pinangako ko, everyday magbibigay ako ng 20 na tanong na meron siyang katumbas na sagot. So, magsisimula tayo ulit sa unang tanong. So, let's start with the first question for the part 2 of our detailed tip for licensure examination for teacher for professional education. So, ayun. Magsisimula tayo sa Prof. Ed na unang tanong sa ikalawang bahagi ng ating review. Blank is the power of foretelling probable consequences based on observable and patterned facts. A. Measurement. B. Interference. C. Prediction. D. Control of variables. Okay, the correct answer here is interference. So, interference is the power of foretelling probable consequences based on observable and pattern facts. Okay, so let's proceed to number 2. Sana po nakakapag-take note din kayo. Mag-ready kayo ng ballpen din at saka papel para po pwede nyo i-take note kung gusto ninyo. Okay, so pangalawang tanong. Blank is the less popular method of punishing a student by denying him temporary access to the educational benefits of schooling. So, ibig sabihin nun, ano yung punishment? Anong tawag sa punishment na yun? A. Grade deduction. B. Retribution. C. Suspension. D. Expulsion. The correct answer is suspension. Okay, suspension is a less popular method of punishing a student by denying him temporary access to the educational benefits of schooling. For the third question, blank is the logical extension of sit work. Blank is the logical extension of sit work. A. Discussion. B. Assignment. C. Recitation. D. Examination. The correct answer is assignment. Always remember, assignment is the logical extension of sit work. Okay, for the number 4 question, blank is the role that teachers play when he sets desirable learning activities for the individual learner and takes the responsibility of matching available resources with the need of each learner. Okay, so ayun, anong tawag sa pinoportray ng teacher kung ang teacher ay nagsiset ng isang desirable learning activities. Okay. A. Initiator of the teaching learning process. B. Scholar of master of learning. C. Manager of the teaching learning process. And letter D. Abstractor and supervisor of learning. The correct answer is letter C, manager of the teaching learning process. Tayong teacher, when we set desirable learning activity, we stand here as a manager of the teaching learning process. So, let's proceed to the question number 5. Blank is the major task of every teacher. So, alam po natin kung anong trabaho natin bilang mga kaguruan. Unang kasagutan, letter A, guides learning. Letter B, motivates the lesson to interest the students. Letter C, ask question to challenge the students. Letter D, shares responsibility and counseling. Okay, very good. Kung alam niyo ang kasagutan dito, well, I'm so proud of you. The correct answer here is guides learning. So, we as a teacher, our main or yung pinaka-core ng ating profession ay ang magturo. I-guide sila sa learning na tinatawag. Okay, so let's proceed to the number 6 question. Blank is the prime quality a teacher must possess to make good teaching profession. Again, blank is the prime quality a teacher must possess make good in the teaching professions. A. 20/20 vision and good hearing. Yun ba yun yung mga katangian ng mga teachers na kung saan para maipakita natin na tayo ay mabuting guro sa ating profesyon. So, dapat ba meron tayong 20/20 vision and good hearing? Letter B, good health. Letter C, fair in her public speaking ability. Letter D, a side income to supplement her salary. And letter E, an IQ of 125 thereabouts. The correct answer here is fair in her public speaking ability. Ibig sabihin, pata sa pananalita. O, yun, ganun yun. So, let's proceed to number 7 question. Blank, it is a common phenomenon that homes in urban or rural places are clean. However, our streets and parks are dirty. Citizens do not bother about garbage collections and rug roads as long as this do not affect their family and home. Such situations show that Filipinos still lack of. Okay, so we're asking now about so nandun na tayo sa situational na tanong. So, ayan na, medyo hindi na siya katulad nung nireview natin nung nakaraan na madali lang. So, this time, nasa situational na natanong tayo. Okay, our option number 1 is A, community, or the Filipinos still lack in blank. A, community leadership. B, personal discipline. C, social consciousness. And letter D, political will. Okay, the correct answer is letter C, social consciousness. Okay, number 8 for the second part ng ating review. Blank is the major objection to allowing a child to display anger and will. Again, blank is the major objection to allowing a child to display anger and will. A, it is learned as a means of solving his problem when more adequate solutions should be learned instead. B, it is a poor way of releasing tension. Letter C, it becomes more and more serious until he expresses his anger in more violent forms. Letter D, it is injurious to the physical health of others. And letter E, it may encourage others to get angry with him instead. The correct answer here is letter B. It's poor way of releasing tension. So, hindi masama na magalit tayo or kahit yung mga student natin na mag-release na ng galit nila. Okay lang yun kasi yun yung pinakasimpleng paraan na maalis yung tension na kung ano man yung meron sa nararamdaman natin. Blank was the dominating feature of educational system during the Spanish period. A, emphasized on vocational education and nationalism. B, predominance of independent private secondary schools. C, extension of educational facilities to the masses. Letter D, establishment of national system and secondary education. The correct answer here is letter A, emphasize on vocational education and nationalism. Kunong panahon yun ng Spanish period, syempre, yun yung pinaka-sentro ng ating pag-aaral. So, don't forget, emphasize a vocational education and nationalism was the dominating feature on the education system during Spanish period. Number 10, blank is considered as the primary purpose of guidance. Again, blank is considered as the primary purpose of guidance. A, to adjust the severity of the conflicts to that child can profit from it. Letter B, to prevent the occurrence in all conflicts. Letter C, to help the pupil to take a philosophical outlook towards the inevitability on conflicts one's life. Letter D, to help solve the problems and conflict a pupil may have. Letter E, to help the pupil learns to resolve some of his conflicts. Okay, the correct answer here is letter C, to help the pupils to take a philosophical outlook toward the inevitability of conflicts in one's life. Okay, that was to consider as the primary purpose of guidance. So, yun yung pinaka-sentro ng yun yung purpose ng guidance. Okay. So, next, number 11, blank is the goal of teaching in teaching the child to study. Again, blank is the goal in teaching the child to study. A, to provide the child with techniques and specific practice of study. B, to establish good reading habits. Letter C, to develop the child's ability to undertake constructive and creative activities. And letter D, to enable the child to learn independently. And letter E, to develop the child's interest in particular activity. The correct answer here is letter C, to develop the child's ability to undertake constructive and creative activities. Okay, again, the goal in teaching the child to study is to develop the child's ability to undertake constructive and creative activities. Okay, now let's proceed to number 12. Blank describes the soul punishment. A, it arouses anxiety with reduced learning efficiency. B, it promotes good discipline. Letter C, it develops desirable attitudes of respect for authority. And letter D, it's effective as an motivation. And letter E, it is effective as motivation. Okay, so we have only 3 options here. So the correct answer is letter B. Okay, it promotes good discipline. Okay, it promotes good discipline. Best describe the soul punishment. Okay, so yun. Sana na may na-impart din ako sa inyo para kahit paano ay makatulong ako para sa pag-take nyo ng board exam. So now let's proceed. Number 13, the highest and the most difficult form of generalization to solicit from the class. A, showing relationship among concepts. B, forming a definition. C, giving satisfaction. And letter D, forming a concept or a rule. The correct answer here is forming a concept or a rule. Okay, so yun, the highest and the most difficult form of generalization to solicit from the class is forming a concept or a rule. Okay, now next question. Blank is the most authoritative of the methods. A, integration method. B, demonstrations method. C, discovery method. And D, lecture method. The correct answer here is lecture method. Lecture method is the most authoritative of the methods. Next, number 15. Question number 15. Blank is an effective means of ensuring transfer of learning. Again, blank is an effective means of ensuring transfer of learning. A, use of pictures and different aids. B, use of study guides. C, use of true to life in and out school situations. D, use of varied examples. And letter E, use of interesting stories. The correct answer here is use of true to life in and out school situation. Okay, again, use of true to life in and out school situation is an effective means of ensuring transfer of learning. Okay, now let's proceed to number 16. Incident learning is regarded as frequently more effective than formal learning because it blank. A, has more system in its organization. B, is more overlearned. C, it's more functional and related to the learner's and purposes. Letter D, possesses greater perceptual intensity. Letter E, provide greater incentives. The correct answer here is letter C, is more functional and related to the learner's motives and purposes. Okay, next, number 17. Blank is the type of need which learners have to satisfy first as human being. Again, blank is the type of need which learners have satisfied first as human being. A, physiological. B, social. C, psychological. D, ethical. And letter E is cultural. The correct answer is physiological. Physiological is the type of need which learners have to satisfy first as human beings. So now, let's proceed. Number 18 in our part 2 of review. Blank is considered as the best way of meeting the needs of mentally superior learner. Again, blank is considered as the best way of meeting the needs of mentally superior learner. A, making use of his talents as tutor of his peers. B, accelerating the learner. C, involving the learner in many extracurricular activities. And letter D, enriching the curriculum. Letter E, keeping him in cool for shorter hours. Okay, the correct answer here is making use of his talents as tutor of his peers. Making use of his talents as tutor of his peers is considered as the best way of meeting the needs of mentally superior learner. Okay, now let's proceed. Number 19. A teacher should undertake blank in order to ensure quick and accurate response among pupils. Again, a teacher should undertake blank in order to ensure quick and accurate response among pupils. A, integration. B, review. C, supervised study. D, drill. And letter E, diagnosis. The correct answer is diagnosis. A teacher should undertake diagnosis in order to ensure quick and accurate response for the pupil. Now, let's proceed to the last questions of our part 2 review for detailed tip for professional education. And I'm sure makakatulong ito ng malaki para sa inyong mga gustong mag-take ng licensure examination for teacher. Okay, last question. Blank is the least effective in making the child's educational experience impressive and lasting. Again, blank is the least effective in making the child's educational experience impressive and lasting. A, community activities. B, socializing activities. C, creative activities. D, audio-visual materials. And letter C, lecture and reports. The correct answer here is lecture and reports. Lecture and reports is the least effective in making the child's educational experiences impressive and impressive and lasting. So that's all for the part 2 of our review. Don't worry, by tomorrow mag-upload ako ulit ng another 20 na tanong na meron ding kasagutan. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Once again, this is Ma'am Leng. Keep on praying, keep on dreaming, and don't forget to ask always the guidance of the Lord para sa inyong gustong tahaking karera. So, this is Ma'am Leng.